There have been several changes to the tax code this year. This has made administration difficult. But before we go into it, I want you to do three things. Hit the like button of my video, comment, because the more you comment, the better the engagement is, and more people can see this video. This also helps us to find out what content we can give you. Second, please subscribe to my channel and please spread the word around to your friends and relatives. And finally, turn on the bell notification. Unless you have turned on the bell notification, you will not receive every video we have sent. Welcome back to Be Rich. It is generally believed that this budget did not touch income tax rules, but there has been a lot of changes in income tax in the applications. The sections have been made more draconian and made it very difficult for the common man to apply his mind to it. Basically, what Nirmala Sitharaman has said, her officers will abdicate all responsibility, and it is the responsibility of the citizens to collect tax instead of the income tax officers. This is completely unacceptable. There are two problems in this Income Tax Act. The amendments are proposed in this budget and which will be definitely passed because of the brute majority that this government enjoys. One is a new section that has been inserted, Section 194Q. Section 194Q says that if I am buying more than 50 lakhs from one vendor, I have to deduct 0.1 income tax and remit it with the income tax authorities. The amount may look very small, but 50 lakhs is no big sum considering today's inflation. Every small and medium entrepreneur will be forced to buy this kind of money because the definition of small and medium entrepreneur has gone to several hundred, several crores today. This is unnecessary tedious paperwork being pushed on the small entrepreneur. He has to have GST compliance professionals. At least he was dealing with the auditor once a year to finalize the bank accounts. He would have developed the software to deduct taxes in Form 16 and Form 26 AS. Inserting this into the new section and expect him to monitor how much turnover is made when it crosses 50 lakhs, deduct tax and pay is undue complaints. The cost of complaints itself will kill the small entrepreneur. This is in case of manufacturing where there is at least 10% margin. But there are cases where where traders buy from distributors and sell. They do crores of transaction and the margin they trade is between 1.5 to 2. When I'm trading on for a net margin of 1.5%, then 0.1 becomes a big number in my net profit because the guy who is supplying to me is going to jack up the price because he is not going to take a reduced price on his income tax. It is a job of the income tax officer and the income tax commissioner to make sure every assessee pays tax on time. It is not my job to make sure that my vendor pays its income tax. But what Nirmala Sitharaman is expecting me to do is to comply on behalf of my vendor. This is totally unacceptable. But there is more draconian position in this. Now, what she has proposed, I have a contractor, I deduct tax on his account and deposit in his bank account. Deposit with ITR and upload it, and it appears on his Form 26 AS. Suppose my contractor does not file his income tax return, and he does not claim his money, then what she is saying is I, as his user of his services, is responsible. What she is proposing is that if my contractor whom I have hired has not filed his return for 2 years and has 26 AS of more than 50,000 rupees, then my responsibility to increase the rate at which TDS is deducted. Suppose a contractor I have to deduct 1%, then I have to deduct 2% for him. If I am deducting 5%, then I have to deduct 10%. But it is my responsibility to go and ask my contractor to submit his ITR returns. Am I an income tax officer to ask him to supply his income tax papers to me and find out what is his 26 AS? Why will somebody give a stranger today? Transactions takes place in strangers. Just because he is my contractor, how can I ask him for his income tax return and ask whether 26 AS is there? There is no mechanism in the income tax website where I enter a PAN number which tells me that this guy is a defaulter and therefore a higher tax has to be deducted. There is no portal from which I can find out whether I should deduct him at 1% or double the rate. And if I do not comply by deducting the correct amount of tax, you will set the income tax office machinery behind me. What kind of tax mechanism are we running if you are not able to, for the failures of your officers, you want to punish the honest taxpayer, sending him in a merry-go-round to find out whether his supplier has paid his taxes or not? Why do we have to look at every citizen as a criminal? The plain truth in this matter is that the government does not have tax revenues and is hungry for revenues. When the government is so hungry for revenue that it wants to harass every small taxpayer, then why cut tax? You want to project an investment friendly place and you reduce tax rates. The problem is that the amount of tax collected has been stagnant over the last several years, whereas the amount of people filing returns has increased. So basically, what you have done is by forcing compliance, you have made lot of non-taxpayers into filing returns, and there is no commensurate increase in tax collection. There is no increase in tax collection because you have cut the corporate tax rates beyond a point without plugging the revenue gap somewhere else. And thus, the targets given by you, madam, to the tax officials are unrealistic. And because these tax targets are unrealistic, they are forced to chase the honest taxpayer. And the bureaucrats invent methods by which I can put pressure on my suppliers to pay. Instead, it would have been better that if you did away with all this and jacked up rates to 35%. You are not willing to do so because your large corporate friends will suffer. For your large sake of your large corporate friends, you are putting the small and medium industry through untold misery. This has to stop because the margins do not make it possible for a small scale industry to appoint a separate accountant for GST, a separate auditor for income tax, and a separate person who will tell me how much tax I can deduct and pay. If you do not do this, the small industry will vanish and die. Please understand, worldwide, it's the small industry which is providing the jobs, not the large corporates. Thank you for watching Be Rich. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification. If you use Kindle, you can buy the book using the Kindle link given below. If you want a hard copy, send a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would get in touch with you. At the very end, if you want to get in touch with me, please send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. I am grateful for your support of Be Rich.